problems, and her start to the season has been delayed, and typically she's the very last athlete to line up on that bend. The final of the women's 10,000 metres. Sifan Hassan, if all goes to the form book in the early stages, and it does, will go straight to the back. So much to talk about here, Hannah. Eilish McColgan has gone straight to the front, and maybe, if you're looking at this from a European and a British and a Japanese perspective, they can't afford for this to be slow. There are too many in this field who can move very, very well if it gets tight and tactical. But the big question mark here, Hannah, we know Letesenbet is in decent shape. We know we've got the likes of Tai, her compatriot, the 22-year-old, who's in form. We really have no idea where Sifan Hassan is on her kind of own very high standard. That 15:13 in Portland earlier this month doesn't really tell us anything. This 10,000 metres with Hironaka and Eilish McColgan on the pace-making duties. Hassan just in the middle of that group. But it's crazy, really. The two leaders are looking comfortable in these early stages, and McColgan is in fantastic form this year. She's had 6 races and won 4 of them. But talking about Hassan, how do you try and construct a way to beating somebody who in Doha won the 10,000 and the 1,500 metres? That is an unprecedented range.
Sifan Hassan actually really burst onto the scene in Doha. She was running fantastically well a few years before that. But that range to win the 1,500 and the 10,000, she ran 3:59 for the final 1,500 of the 10,000 metres. And that's no messing about, and I think that's why these athletes have had to change their tactics. They've had to think, I have to try and run the sting out of the likes of Sifan Hassan. And she's sitting way back in that pack at the moment, just chilling out. History, Pavel Fajbek is just trying to make to her inside, moving her way past the hammer cage. Now, Hironaka looks very comfortable out in the lead. I do love the attitude and the application of the Japanese athletes through these rounds. I know we've got no rounds here with 3,000 metres, but we often see them in the 1,500 and the 5K just kind of sticking to task and making it a fast race. Hironaka trying to get herself another top 8 global finish to back up her 7th place from that Home Olympics last year.
Interesting to see the 3 Ethiopians running very, very close together. That's the view of Hironaka, top 8 last year. I just get the feeling it's slowed a fraction here. They've bunched up once again, and that's the thing. If you go to the front with a field this good behind you, you've got to have the courage of your convictions. 6:08 at 2,000 metres. So it's a decent pace. What are they? They're around about 30:50.
Really nice running from Hironaka. I think Eilish would be very relieved. She would have perhaps had to do this herself if she had wanted a deep.
There's been a noticeable increase in the tempo here from Hironaka. On the previous lap they were beginning to bunch, but I think she has increased the pace here, knowing that she needs to try and spread them out. As Hannah mentioned, Obiri looking very comfortable in 3rd place. It's Chepkarui in 4th, the Kenyan who now represents Kazakhstan. No move yet from the 3 Ethiopians. Remember, Letesenbet is the world record holder, a medal in Doha and a medal in Tokyo, but the pattern that tends to unfold when she and Hassan are on top form is that Gide hits the front, puts in a savage section of the race and gets rid of everybody apart from Sifan Hassan. There is Gide, our directors and camera crew doing a great job here. Gide, one of the favourites here, but can she, towards the middle or back end of this race, try and change the tactics? And is this one of her best chances to beat Sifan Hassan? Is there a question mark over the brilliant Dutch woman who is just towards the back of that group? She's just out of picture on the left in front of the bobbing, distinctive head of Jess Judd of Great Britain. There's Hassan, just coming round on left of picture now.
Hironaka is moving at a decent pace, but for me, Letesenbet, she's got to, I feel like she's got to go soon with that 62.52 half marathon world record. Her strength is unrivaled in this field. She's not looked untouchable by any sort of stretch of the imagination this track season. You kind of get the feeling when you've got that in your locker, surely you want to push on early doors. And I don't have the patience for 10,000 metres. That's probably why I never raced it. I wouldn't be able to hold my nerve. Because for Gide, I'd say if Hassan's off the pace, you win now and you've got a jump on her. That's it. She can't close the gap if you drop the hammer and you start running 70s, 71s. I wouldn't expect Hassan to be able to close that gap. But it is still early stages in this 10,000 metres.
I do agree, though. I think if there's Gide in the middle. She's having a conversation with her teammate there, just looking over her shoulder, just deciding who is going to take that on. They're still talking. Gide in a roundabout 5th or 6th. We'll come back to this momentarily, back to this fascinating hammer final.
Third round of the men's hammer throw. Nowitzki had the lead briefly to relinquish it to Fidek and to Ivan Henriksson, but that looked like a great third round effort for the Olympic champion. Nowitzki doesn't give much away on his emotion, but look at that, into the lead, 81 metres and 3 centimetres. Nowitzki, Henriksson and Fidek, that was our order in Tokyo last summer. We've got another 3 full rounds to go. Nowitzki just getting that third round underway in the men's hammer throw final as the women do nearly as many turns as we're going to see from those men. 25 circuits of the track for this 10,000 metres. Hassan, the reigning champion. She's looking to defend her champion. That's only been a championships. It's only been achieved by Chironesh Dibaba and Vivian Chariot. A special title to try and win back to back. Pretty much no change down there with Japan's Hironaka doing a great job pacemaking the rest of the field. Just hitting those 73, 74 second laps. Everybody just staying patient and biding their time. A few laps to go till halfway. These athletes will have...
Her sensational international tour, Mary Decker-Slaney returned home here to Eugene, Oregon, where she called her home in less than 24 hours after arriving. She decided to enter a 10,000-meter race in an all-comers meet at Hayward Field. The old Hayward Field, wearing flats and treating the race like a training run. Decker ran 31:35 to take more than 40 seconds off the previous world record. And Mary Slaney, just a household name in these parts, but you talk about history in this stadium, could be good history be made today.
Oh, great insight about a champion from a champion, Mary Decker-Slaney. A great win for her all those years ago, and there is so much history. You can feel it when you're walking round here, and it says, feel the glory. Well, we will do. Now, despite the fact that Hironaka was at the front for quite a long time, it's become bunched. We've lost Dominic Scott and one of the Ugandans. Ailish McColgan now leading, but this feels, now that we're into the second half of the race, someone's got to make a move. This feels like an uncomfortable position from which to lead, doesn't it, Hannah? Because it's not as if at the moment she's only got 5 or 6 hanging on. This feels like she's leading, but with 3/4 of the field queuing up behind her.
Ailish took a great guns-to-tape victory at Hengelo with that 30.19, but she was on her own, and you're right, Rob. The pressure, the anxiety, everyone was waiting for someone to attack, and you've got to defend that position over and over again. It can be incredibly mentally draining. It's a lovely, still, cool, perfect distance running morning, but that pressure of having the likes of Helen Obiri, Taye, Gide, never mind Sifan Hassan, still content to sit at the back of the field, has got to be playing on Ailish's mind. For me, Helen Obiri made a bit of a move, and that almost woke up Ailish McColgan. It's like she was waiting for one of the big names to try and make an attack, and that almost launched Ailish McColgan to the front of the field. I don't know if she was quite ready to be there yet. They went through halfway in 15:19, which is a great pace. Eilish McCulkin just continuing almost the same pace that we saw from Hiranaka, maybe a shade faster. This pace will start to tell, the fatigue will start to settle in, and at some stage this field will fragment, but at the moment, as you said, Rob, Eilish is just acting like a pacemaker for a really high quality field that are queuing up behind her.
Obiri on her shoulder. Now Obiri knows what it takes to become a global champion over 5,000 metres, but thus far in her career she has failed to win a 10,000 metre global medal. 5th in Doha, 4th in Tokyo. She's in 2nd place, but yes, this group, this is big. This, at the moment, this isn't quite panning out as Eilish McCulkin would have predicted. I wonder if she would have been better off, bearing in mind these conditions are cool, and look, it must be so difficult to be this bold when you've got a field of this quality. I wonder if she would have been better off going out at the type of pace she produced in Hengelo right from the very beginning, and at least forcing everyone to answer some very difficult questions, because the longer this goes on, with that big group behind her,
they've really got to get moving very soon if they want to run the sting out of Sifan Hassan. 3:59 she ran in the closing 1500 metres to take the title in Doha. If they leave it any longer, you think the Dutch woman's got more and more of a chance of defending that title.
Just less than 3 laps to go. Surely Letesenbet Gide, if she's got anything in the tank, she needs to start thinking about a big wind-up. Obiri would desperately love to win a medal, if not the title, over 10,000 metres. The defending champion, Sifan Hassan, is still in touch in that group in around about 5th or 6th. Another athlete about to be lapped. Taye, though, looks so composed. Her body language indicates she's still comfortable. Gide just about somehow finding a gap, or does she? Through on the inside. Obiri is the first of the 2 Kenyans. Kipkemboi just ever such a slightly taller figure, and Malati, the 3rd Ethiopian, still in that group. What kind of sprint can Sifan Hassan find in this race? What kind of form is she in? She just goes past the lap runner. The Eritrean will be spat out the back of that group. Oh, this is starting to get so exciting. The Ethiopian flags just in front of me above the finish line are beginning to really wave and get interested here. 3 Ethiopians still in that group. Schweitzer hanging on at the back, the crowd on the far straight getting excited about the presence of the American. We are witnessing some of the all-time great female 10,000 metre runners. Letesenbet Gide is the world record holder. Twice she's been on the podium in the last 2 global editions of 10,000 metre races. Silver in Doha, bronze in Tokyo. Both times it was Hassan who took the title. What can the Dutch woman produce here? Because we have around about 550 metres to go.
This is getting super tense. The previous lap was 70 seconds. That was the fastest we've seen. Helen Obiri claimed she could drop a sub 60, and she's getting herself in position to do just that. Gide lifts her pace ever so slightly, but could Sifan Hassan, all the trouble she's had this year, a long recovery mentally and physically from the Olympic Games, followed by a calf strain, is all to fight for as they hit the belt. Gide from Obiri.
Inside the last 400 metres in the women's 10,000, Letesenbet Gide striking out for glory, but Hassan is tracking the leading quartet. The noise is huge down the back straight. Gide, Bataille's on her shoulder. Remember, the youngster beat Letesenbet Gide over 5,000 metres. Kipkemboi trying to stay with the pace, and Hassan is winding up for a big finish. What a title defence this will be for Sifan Hassan. She's done nothing all season, and she's coming up onto the shoulder of Gide. Obiri comes through and blocks Taye on the inside. What a battle! Who's got the heart? Who's got the belief? Who's got the drive and the acceleration? One of the great 10,000 metre races. Gide, desperate for the win. Is it going to be her turn? She looks over her shoulder. Obiri's closing. She drifts out. Letesenbet Gide by the narrowest